Hello and welcome to Sunday Night with me, Kwaku Nhyira-Addo. This is a show that brings you conversations with men and women whose lives intrigue and inspire. Today's iconic conversation is with a man who, 24 years after the Jamaicans sent a bobsled team to the Winter Olympics in Calgary, stepped out on his own to ski at a Winter Olympics. Kwame Nkrumah-Acheampong, also known as the Snow Leopard. Kwame, you're welcome to the
Thank you very
Sunday
much.
Night. So, Jamaica sent a team. Everybody thought it was a crazy idea, and they left an imprint on winter sports forever. What was your inspiration for going into a winter sport?
Well, I think mine was more of a challenge. I learned how to ski really kind of rapidly, and someone said it's impossible for me to qualify for an Olympics because I was from Black Africa. So I said, why not? Let me try.
Okay.
So it's more of the competition of sports and being there that you cannot do this or you cannot do that. That was more of my driving force. I think maybe somewhere later along the line, it turned into something I actually enjoyed doing really well.
I mean, Africans, when it's the rainy season, we start wearing,
Jackets.
pullovers and jackets. That should tell you we're not very happy with the cold. Why would you choose a winter sport of all sports?
I think I love cold. I love winter. I like the whole white snow experience. And I was born in Scotland as well. So maybe genetically or whatever, I can stand the cold more. So minus 19 is okay. It's not
minus what?
19. It's okay.
Okay.
So that's why I love it. I mean, out of all the seasons in Europe, I think winter is the most beautiful.
Okay. Well, I'll take that from you. I love my Ghana winter, which is usually from June to August.
Rainy season.
Rainy season. That's more than enough for me. But I mean, on a more serious note, how could someone's dare make you go forward to say, I want to do this thing?
I schooled in Ghana for part of my, early years. And going back to UK, for someone to try and kind of belittle you and go like, you're coming from sub-Saharan Africa, you guys don't ski there, you can't do it. I even had a funny comment on the internet that skiing is like playing chess. Black people can't play chess.
Oh.
And I play chess. So it's like, maybe we are not grandmasters just because we don't put a lot of effort into it. But I do believe that there's no sport that a Black African cannot excel at. I mean, we've got this French lady of African descent who is the first and only person to have done a backflip while skating. We are strong, we are powerful. It's just that we need a bit of direction. So that's why I'm in that sport.
Wow. No, so how did you learn to ski?
It took me 30 minutes to learn how to ski. It's not that difficult. You've got good balance. If you are not too scared of overcoming your fear of heights, you can do it.
And so this was a period where you were working at a ski resort or like a...
I was working in an indoor ski center, similar to the one in Dubai.
Okay.
Dubai is a copy of where I used to work.
Right.
So I met the Arabs when they came there and everything. So it's about 120 or 150 meters long, but it's a massive difference to when you get out onto a real mountain. Real mountain, scary because you are really motoring 90 to 150 kilometers. And sometimes you have a bit of a bump.
Okay.
And you can't see what's
beyond it.
Yes. And the idea of skiing is don't slow down. So even though you can't see beyond it, you're supposed to press on. So you're increasing your speed, always looking for the fastest line through what we call the gates, which is the course to get down. So, I mean, all that makes it fun.
It makes it fun?
It's fun.
I must be honest with you, no disrespect, but you must be nuts to do something like that. Well, I mean, there are better ways to hurt yourself.
If you're driving on the motorway, does it look fast when you're looking straight forward? No.
No, it doesn't.
When you look to the side, then you see things go. Same thing with skiing. It's just like a picture coming forward rapidly towards you.
Incredibly
Fast, yeah.
I mean, but if I'm in a car that's doing 150 kilometers an hour, and don't tell anyone, I've tried it. I love driving. I love to go fast when I am happy there's no other car on the road. I did that in the middle of the night on the Autobahn. And at 150 kilometers an hour, you're moving.
Yeah.
You're in a metal box that has gone through a lot of research and design and development to protect you. You are strapped in a lycra suit and a helmet going downhill at 150 kilometers an hour.
But you control your 150. You control your path. Your legs are like your suspension in your car. Your heart is your engine. And your radiator, your lungs. So if you can manage all those well for about 2 minutes, you're good.
Wow, 150 meters, all of that.
Yeah.
Slalom your way.
Just going.
So you did this to prove people wrong. How did you qualify for the Olympics?
It took me 7 years to qualify. I tried to qualify in 2 years, but I was just 84 points away from qualifying, and I missed out. And I'd wanted to give up then because a lot of money was spent, a lot of effort, and I talked to my missus, and she was like, "You put all this into it already. Why don't you try again and see what happens?" So another 4 years, and I got the qualification.
Thank God for good wives, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So she made sure you stayed the course.
Yeah, it was like you spent a lot of...
Go and finish that job. I mean, but you went back and invested another 4 years of your life. How does one typically qualify for the Olympics?
Well, you start off with what we say is 999 points, and you have to drop your points until you get to below 140. So in other sports, you're gaining points. We must lose points.
Okay.
You lose points by coming very close to the top racers in any race you have. So the closer you get to them, the better.
Okay. And you did this, and then the second time you qualified.
Yep.
What was it like when you finished the race and saw the leaderboard and you're like, I've made it?
You can see me smiling.
I can tell, yes.
It tells you everything. I just told myself, like, yeah, it's done. I can stop, go and relax, and enjoy the fact that I'm now bona fide, pre-Olympic athlete. So everything changed. It was like loads of sponsors. Everybody wanted to get in on it then.
Well, of course. I mean, you're a man of color going to a sport that up until Jamaica and their bobsled team in '88 hadn't seen a black person do this. Of course, you attracted a lot of attention, not just from sponsors.
Yeah.
What was it like when you arrived at the Games Village?
It was crazy. You got a point we couldn't go anywhere. If you wore a Ghana ski team T-shirt or a jacket, you were mobbed immediately.
Wow.
So it was crazy. I mean, absolutely mad stuff. Absolutely mad.
And then you arrive, you had the adulation of all the people in the Games Village and in the city. But you had not even put on your gear to ski yet.
No. I mean, we went to Vancouver Island as our kind of pre-Olympic training base. And the first day I got out onto the slope, massive crowd waiting to watch me ski. And it was like, I don't need to prove myself again. I know how to ski. Why are you all gathered? But it was like, they just want to see the African guy come down. Okay. Like when I got at the bottom, long line of people, everybody wants to shake your hand. And you have to stand and shake 100 and something, 200 hands. And each time I went up, another crowd, I mean,
it grew because people tell people, right?
And very soon, the whole slope was packed with people, cameramen, everybody taking pictures.
Wow.
And you can't fall, because when you fall, they go like, okay, he fell. So
we knew he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting. That must be incredible pressure, but also for you being so competitive, that would be something that spurred you on.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I did not enjoy the Olympics as I should have enjoyed the Olympics. Like having your freedom it wasn't available. Everything we did were being scrutinized. How you walk, what you eat. I mean, once I went to a cafe, had a hot chocolate, and the next morning, not knowing somebody had actually picked the cup, the paper cup, kept it at home, brought it back for a signature. So it had the hot chocolate still, the stains, and they were going to keep it.
So there's a paper cup
Yeah.
with your DNA
And my
imprint on it and your
signature, yeah.
signature. That must be worth a fortune now. I mean, but it's quite interesting that, you know, you went to an Olympic not as somebody who had done the sport extensively, but you enjoyed a lot of attention. I mean, is it something that typically happens to either mavericks or exceptions at games, or the best performing teams? Well, tell me what happens in a village typically.
I'll say, like, in Canada, the Canadian team had a lot of media coverage because, well,
Home team.
Olympics in Canada. But if you are not expected to be able to do something and you are doing it, then a lot of people go like, how come you're doing it? Like the Jamaican bobsleigh team.
That's right.
Everybody goes like, oh, Jamaicans can run. What are they doing in a bobsleigh? I mean, Ghana could easily send a bobsleigh team that will do well, but we are not expected to be there.
Right.
We are expected to be doing boxing, football, some athletics, some sprints. Yes. Imagine a Ghanaian winning the butterfly 50 meter butterfly at an Olympics in the swimming pool. Everybody go like, Ghana has arrived. We are now swimmers.
Okay.
And that's just what happened to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, I mean, we've just had the All Africa Games ended, or the African Games has just ended, hosted here in Ghana. You've followed the euphoria around it. You've read the stories. You've seen some of the races and some of the events. What does an athlete or a group of athletes competing under a flag have to gain for themselves, and what does the country also have to gain when these things happen?
I would say athletes have the potential of gaining sponsorship if they do well, or if they have very good media coverage. And the countries who really invest in sports, make use of their sporting teams to promote the country. Okay. The country makes a lot of money out of their sports athletes because USA is one of those countries that really knows how to make serious cash out of it. You look at Nike sponsoring the US team. They're paying the whole US team. Part of that money goes in the development of youth-based, grassroots-based sports, etc. So when you have a competition like what's going on, you need to take advantage of it to build a lot of facilities which are funded by sponsors. So London Olympics, a lot of it was like, you know, sponsors are throwing in their cash. They all want to be part of it. You've got Coca-Cola throwing in their cash, all sorts of companies. We should be in a position when we get something like the African, games,
to host,
to take big sponsorship money to build facilities, not spend taxpayers' money to build facilities. You need to use sponsors. That is why when you watch the NBA, they go like the Staples Center. It's sponsored by Staples. They paid for that.
Building, yeah.
But the NBA is playing in the Staples Center. You've got IT companies paying for. That's what we should be doing here. And it takes pressure off the government. It could be GOIL, the GOIL Badminton Center. GOIL uses that to push their brand. If the government gives GOIL some tax subsidies because of that
investment,
good. So you'll start attracting multinationals who are happy to put a lot into stuff like that because they know down the line over the next 20 years, my tax has been subsidized.
So there's a certain incentive for them to do
that.
I mean, I remember when South Africa hosted the African Cup of Nations, and I'll never forget the name of the stadium because it stuck with me. I think Ghana played a game there. It was the FNB Stadium. Many years down the line, we didn't know FNB would end up here in Ghana. But you see, for me, that's a certain level of recall.
Yeah.
from knowing of the F&B stadium then and now. So I think that buttresses the point that you're making. And in your own experience, what was it like? I mean, you were a Ghanaian, you weren't living here in Ghana,
Yeah.
you had qualified to compete under the flag of Ghana at a Winter Olympics. How did you link back with sports authorities here, or anybody could just get up and represent Ghana?
Well, the relationship with the sports authority at that time was not the best.
Okay.
There was a lot of friction and struggle because, one, it's not a traditional sport. We all know in Ghana, when it's time for sports, we waste a lot of money. I call it waste because prior to that event, what are we spending? What are we doing to help the so-called person who is going to represent the nation?
Mm-hmm.
Are you pumping enough money in the person's training, etc.? I was self-funded for the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I didn't. All my pre-preparation and training was all through sponsorship. Working when I was out of snow time, I would, do a normal job like anybody else, put the money together and chase a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot from that. And I think other athletes in Ghana can do similar. The Ghana Olympic Committee, Ghana Sports Council, etc., can have a program where athletes know that they are being paid as a job. So my experience was doing most of the stuff myself. Coming back to the authorities here, it was more of until you qualify, we don't think we can do much. And when I did qualify, it was still up and down, trying to find out, will you get any financial support? And I was like, I really don't have time for that. I've gone this far. I just need to finish off myself. And that was my experience.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so you did interface with the authorities.
Oh, yes.
You did present yourself. I mean, what did you ask of them at the time?
I asked to just have the accreditation, which was taking time because I found out that the Olympic body had sent. I never applied myself. Usually it comes to your GOC and all that. At that time, the GOC had two different administrations fighting. So somebody got my application and dumped it away. So the Olympic body for the world contacted me directly and asked that we are waiting for your application because we really need you in this Olympics because you're going to open up Africa to the rest of the world. So really, if no one is going to write it, here it is. Do it yourself.
Wow.
So I filled all the forms, etc., and sent it back. And they said, okay, now we've received it. We'll deal with your IOC ourselves.
Okay.
So it was like, for the first time, an athlete having an opportunity to understand the mechanics behind getting qualified and going to the Olympics. Yeah, so I had to do quite a bit of the job that the GOC was supposed to do myself.
Interesting. Of course, you were determined you were going to go and do this. And since then, there's been other Africans. So you were the first African to actually, a black African, to have done a Winter Olympic.
Yeah, we now have our skeleton guy. We also have a skier.
Okay.
So now, apart from me, we got two active ones.
Okay.
And the hope was, can we get more? I think a Nigerian tried. Then you got the Kenyans have been doing cross country.
Okay.
They just transferred their running to being on skis, cross country. I know there's a Jamaican skier now. I think after me, a Madagascan came. So we're beginning to see a lot more.
And that's just a short, 14 years after you did it. That's quite interesting. I mean, you've opened a world of possibilities for other people. But, of course, we do not have the cold climes here to be able to do these things. If there were other children today or sports people who felt they wanted to try skiing, for example, would it be possible? Do you think there could be another snow leopard?
Yes, it's possible. We would have to invest in what we call a dry ski slope, which I've been working on. I actually bought a site in the mountains on a slope to see if we could develop it. It's going to take some money. One of the things I tried when I finished my Olympics was to get some youngsters from here and take them to Italy, but that also fell on the same bureaucracy. So we had the tickets ready for them. We had accommodation, we bought insurance. They were actually going to go to school and become skiers, and it never happened.
Why?
Somebody in the sports council wouldn't sign the document for them.
That's it.
Yep, that's all.
But for a signature, they would have
signature to go to the Italian embassy, and so yeah, we have the support of the sports council, etc., to go. So I just ended up giving up on that project.
And this was soon after you had been to the
Olympics.
Olympics. So this would be around
2011, 12, yeah.
12 thereabouts.
Because a lot of my Italian sponsors didn't want the show to end. And they knew that I was exhausted and I didn't want to carry on for another Olympics. And I said, look, I've got some younger people. There's more longevity there. Yeah, maybe more physically fit than me. So let's get these guys in. And they're like, yep, let's do it. But we never got to do it.
So, I mean, in your dealing with authorities and what you'd call bureaucracy, what do you think needs to change?
I think, number one, we should stop seeing sports as an occupation for people who are not highly educated, because there are quite a few sportsmen who are doctors, etc., in Britain. Mm-hmm. And I know there's even a knight. He's been knighted. Mm-hmm. He used to do rowing. I've forgotten his name. Says something.
Oh, Paul Redgrave, right?
Yes.
It's Redgrave. I can't remember if it's Peter or Paul Redgrave.
Yeah. He used to row, and I think he's a doctor or something like that. And that was his passion. He's a doctor. He likes doing this, out of hospital. And the guy is fantastic. And been to 1, 2, 3, 4 Olympics. I always say, if you go to the north, we have people who can shoot bows and arrows. Mm-hmm. Well, India and these countries always go to Olympics and they win the archery. We have hunters who are killing things far away for food. Now they say, get paid just to hit a bullseye. Why not? We have fishermen who can row, etc. I think we should start looking at sports as a real occupation. It can pay you a monthly salary. And if you got ministers, you got MPs who earn money, why can't our national Olympic or World Championship hopefuls be paid just like they work for the country? They are representing the country somewhere. Pay them a monthly salary so they know that in order for me to keep my monthly salary, I really need to be at the top of my game. I need to be going for the competitions. I need to be doing well, etc.
And of course, stay out of trouble.
Yeah. And the more they go for competitions, international competitions, and they keep practicing, they're going to become better. When you go for a world championship for the first time, it can be daunting. You can even freeze. You might not perform. Before you go for an Olympics, you need to have gone through a process. You understand what is expected of you in the games village. You know how to carry yourself. You know what not to say to the media. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into sports. It's not just wake up, it's African Games, jump in there. I mean, look at the situation we have with the rider, bike not working. Mm-hmm. If you had started this process long ago, you would know he needs a bike of this type months before. He would have practiced on that bike for so long. Mm-hmm. He'll be so used to the bike, second nature, he could have done better than stopping somewhere along the line and when the bike is not good. So the government officials have to realize that, one, yes, we always kind of know that we want to see money. If you put a good program together, the government doesn't need to even pump money in. I have a company now looking to sponsor a Ghanaian athlete. Any hopeful who is going to Olympics, this company will sponsor the athlete. Funny thing is that this company is a local company. They got the cash to sponsor. Can't tell you the company, but they've told me that we have the cash to sponsor. We had even wanted to sponsor the Black Stars, and thank God we didn't do it.
Oh, wow.
The backlash would have been so much. But if you can get us an Olympic hopeful for the French Olympics and after, they're willing to pump money and back the person. Monthly money to make sure that the athlete is constantly training. You want to go for international competitions, they're willing to back you. That's where we should be looking at. 10, 20-year sports plan. Not, it's the African Games. Here we go.
Wow, fantastic. Well, this is Sunday night, and our guest is the first Ghanaian alpine skier, first Ghanaian Winter Olympian, and He's sharing his story with us. Quite an intriguing story. I mean, we meet people and we have great, interesting conversations about different things. But I never thought that, you know, when I was watching Cool Runnings in 1993, I would be talking to a Ghanaian who also went out there to go and create his own thing. I mean, what do you think this would do or has done for Ghana in certain places?
Well, now Ghana is kind of expected to be at the Winter Olympics each year. Because we've had me, we've had I think it's called Kwaku Skeleton,
Yeah.
and we've got the other guy who's half Ghanaian, half something. I can't remember which other.
Is that the
country.
guy who's
Alpine skiing now?
alpine
Yeah,
skiing
he's
now?
alpine
Yeah.
skiing now. I don't know if he's going to go for the next Olympics. So now we are kind of expected to be there.
And then there's another Ghanaian. I think he's a two-man bobsled.
German.
But he's racing for the Germans.
He did it for Germany in 2010 and he won a silver medal. So that tells you that we lost a silver medal.
Yes, we did.
Because all we had to do is put somebody in the front of that thing and there was a silver medal. And he came and showed me the silver medal. And I was saying that, look, this wrong country. And I'm like, oh, no, he can't do it for Ghana. He needs the equipment. He needs the right training. He needs the right backing. And I think he had contacted the Ghana Olympic and Sports Council said nothing really came out of it. So he just stuck to the German national team. And he won a silver medal. He would have not had that opportunity if he hadn't stuck to it. I mean, we got a lot of athletes of Ghanaian descent all over the world, you know, doing their sport for another country.
Yeah.
If you produce a system or you orchestrate a system that will really allow these athletes excel, they'll all come back home. That's what it is.
So let's move away from that now. I mean, you're retired.
Oh, yes.
But it's a dangerous sport. I've seen, I mean, thanks to watching stuff like Eurosport, I got a chance to see quite a bit of Winter Olympics. And I must be honest with you, I have never pictured myself or a Ghanaian doing it, but I actually enjoy watching like the downhill slalom.
Yeah.
And I have seen people, you know, go into the barriers, taking spectators with them.
Yes.
How would you play a sport like that?
Well, accidents in skiing are bound to happen. You can't get away from it. There is no skier I know who has not had an accident.
So how many injuries or accidents have you had?
I've had a fracture left here. Then I think my ankle got a massive sprain, so it got swollen. But I was still skiing with it. We put a bandage on and we fit it into the boots. But you know it's going to happen. It's just that how bad is it going to be?
Okay.
It means you got to protect yourself. So we have motorcycle back braces on.
Okay.
We wear shorts with padding for your coccyx so you don't break it. Our helmets are certified crash helmets. So you can slam something at 150. You can walk away from it, you know, with not smashed head. Funny enough, at my Olympics, the day before the opening ceremony, somebody died because he was in the bobsleigh track and he came out of it and he slammed into a pole and his head exploded.
Whoa.
The helmet didn't save him. So he died, so we had a 1 minute silence for him. But it will happen. It's just that you have to train yourself well enough not to get damaged too much.
And someone dies, then the next day
We are in it, yeah.
Wore your stuff, stood there,
Bingo.
and knew you were going to go downhill at 150 kilometers.
Yeah.
And you did it.
I don't know how to describe it. Get on a bike, motorbike, and let somebody else ride it for you, and you just stand at the back and go like, "Wait, hey." That's the feeling.
Really?
Yeah.
You actually get joy from the speed.
Look, the worst part of skiing for me is sitting in a lift and going to where I'm going to ski.
When you're being taken up.
Yes, that is bad.
Okay.
That I don't like because of the height. But once my feet are on terra firma and I have control, then I'm okay.
You come alive.
Yes.
That's interesting. You know, what has sports done for you as a person? I mean, the discipline of practice and the endurance. I mean, how well has that served you?
I'll say it made me fit. Right now, I'm not as heavy as I used to be. I was about 100 and something kilograms. before the Olympics. I think I've slimmed down now.
Okay.
I'm looking like a normal person. I think each one of my thighs was like twice yours.
Wow.
I was squatting 250 kg around there at that time.
So you already had a thing for sport. You
Yes,
were
but
actually quite active.
because of skiing, I had to really build muscle.
Are you kidding? You were
Yeah.
doing those squats to build muscle
Yeah.
just to ski?
The heavier you are, the more powerful you are, you come down faster. Gravity
All right.
coming down. So you need a lot of muscle.
Okay.
Skiing has exposed me a lot. I've traveled all over the world, South America, funny places like Iran. Yeah, I went skiing in Iran twice.
Yeah, I know they've got some nice snow-capped
Really
mountains.
nice. Yeah, really nice snow. The third time I got thrown out of the country.
Why?
I used a British passport.
Okay.
And they had
So there are places where the Ghanaian passport actually is fine.
very powerful.
Yeah.
Very, very, very. You go with a Ghanaian passport to Iran, and they welcome you with open
You're
arms.
entered with a British
But with a
passport.
British passport, you are as good as persona non grata. It's exposed me to a lot of people, a lot of places. It pays as well if you do it right.
Okay.
Sponsors pay you to cut down on their marketing exposure, etc. So it's done a lot. I mean, today I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you because of skiing.
Interesting. So what are your other interests? We're going to come back to the skiing. I got quite a few, but what are your other interests apart from your need for speed?
Well, I like business, and my formal training is in leisure and tourism, management and development. So I've designed and developed a restaurant. I'm also now working on the Winter Wonderland Leisure Park. So I like doing stuff like that. I built a zip line for Lakeside Marina Park. I've done some work for some restaurants in Accra. That's the kind of stuff I like doing.
Wow. Let's go to the Winter Wonderland. That's an interesting thing. What's that about?
Well, we are planning in a few months to open a location that has an ice skating rink. We're going to be producing snow. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be there for about 4 months of snow until we replace the snow. But all year round, you should now be able to skate in Accra. So
not just skate, ice skating.
Ice skating, yes. So we are bringing that. It's going to be a novelty. It's going to be new. It's going to add to the leisure attractions that you have available to you. Most families don't have a lot of places to go to, and this is family oriented.
Okay.
So you can come with your kids, have fun as an adult, have fun with your kids, have some more bonding time with them. And it's going to be a place that's open from, I think, 9 o'clock until 12 midnight. It's at Oponglo, just here, so right by the roadside. And we are hoping to invite lots and lots of people to come and have fun with snow.
Okay. I mean, I like the idea of that, but beyond just the leisure aspect of it, I'm also seeing in my mind's eye figure skaters from Ghana.
Well, who knows? Who knows? We might get some young lady or a young guy who become really good at it and then can push the boundaries of that. I mean, we've been trying football for a long time. It's not looking too good now. Why don't we try something else? Why don't you open up, a little bit more? I kind of admire the guy who swims for Ghana.
Michael Jackson?
Yes, I've been following him, and he's going from strength to strength. Might it be too late for him in terms of maybe his
on age and development,
yes.
right?
So can we get them when they're really young and just invest in them? Because look, a lot of countries are making huge inroads into sports. It's promoting the country. Brands are pumping money into those countries. Why don't we do the same? Why are we always screaming, hey, the government has to pay this, the government has to do this, the government has to do that? Look, the companies some of them have the money, and they're going like, come for the money, and we're going like, no, we don't want the money.
But permit me to display my ignorance. I believe that in other places where the businesses are willing and the brands are willing to put money in sport, there's a certain framework, there's an ecosystem that allows them to do that, that encourages them to do that. What do you think is missing here?
I think what is missing here is our sports authorities, in my opinion, don't have a plan. It's always wait a few months before whatever competition and throw the whole sink and bucket at it and hope for what? The best. It has to be a well-structured process.
Okay.
Forget about dreaming over a 4-year period. They're going to do anything. No, 8 to 10 years. Get them, plan for it. Even when somebody says, "Oh, I want to go to this Olympics," go like, "You're not ready. Let's look further down the line. Keep at it until you really are a master of your sport. You're putting the times or whatever down, and we know that now you can compete. But you need the structure to make all these brands believe that you have a hope. My sponsors, I had a whole plan every year that I'm going to be doing this event, that event, I'm going to be doing this promo, that promo. So they go like, well, we're going to get some traction from supporting this guy. We're going to be in this magazine. We're going to be on this, TV network. Okay, leading up to this African games, how many times did you see Ghanaian athletes or sportsmen on TV being interviewed? Like we have a whole kind of documentary going like Ghana to get gold. Today we are sitting with a runner. Tomorrow we're sitting with a swimmer. Next day it's a badminton player. We're letting the public know these are our guys. So watch out for them. They are going to be. Our African games, we didn't even promote our guys. I didn't see any advert on any channel going like Ghana for gold. Check the Olympics out and see how many nations are pumping their athletes. They're putting their athletes on front, center, newspapers, TV. Why? Because they are looking for sponsorships for them. So when you know a boxer is probably going to qualify for this French games, stick him on every TV channel and you just watch the money flow in. And you tell the boxer like, "Oh, we're putting you on all these TV channels." When the money comes, 40% is going back to boxing, 60% is coming to you. He's just the face of boxing. Use him and just market the hell out of him and create a lot of traction, and that's it.
And it's quite interesting you said, some will go into boxing. So some of the money would have gone into developing the sport.
Exactly.
And we could do this for every sport.
And it just keeps going. And the more you do it, brands realize that you really have a plan. Anytime there's a world championship, we're going to get a lot of traction on local TV networks. All these brands are already built in billboards, spending. Okay, Abedipele, the Abedipele guys, fan milk.
Yeah.
Okay, why football? Why not a runner? Why not a swimmer? Get them out there. It's also going to inspire younger people to go like, now everybody in Ghana wants to be a celebrity. Young kid can run very well. He's 14. He's on a billboard. What do you think he's going to do to his friends in school? Everybody's going to go like, I want to be on a billboard. How did Kwaku get on a billboard? He's running. Me, I can jump. Starts jumping real high, billboard. You will start getting Olympic, not hopefuls, actual Olympic potentials who are going to win some medal coming up easily. You don't have to do any big program. They will just appear because now it's become lucrative. It's become interesting. Ghana went to the World Cup. All of a sudden, more footballers because more kids want to play football. Let us see other sports. Well-organized program by the GOC, Sports Council, Ministry of Sports, working together with private entrepreneurs and companies and going like, you import X material, raw material. If you sponsor this, we'll slash by half. No brainer. How much?
These are incentives that would make these people, businesses put money in this. And, you talked earlier on about how it was important to have facilities developed.
Yes.
Now, of course, you had access to a ski slope where you worked. And that's because somebody had developed it.
Exactly.
And so you were able to practice very often. And I could see Winter Wonderland becoming a place where people might actually have to go to and practice and build their skills. Now we've got the University of Ghana Stadium, which has tartan tracks. So at least in terms of what we've seen happen here at the African Games, if you were to have the ear of the powers that be or whoever, say hypothetically, I have the power to hire you as a consultant to say, okay, Kwame, what can we do to leverage African Games in Ghana to develop our sport and develop more athletes?
I would, first of all, want to know who are the potentials we have. So you can easily find the potentials. We have inter-colleges, inter-schools. These are kind of grassroots level to find all these sporting talents. Then you're going to look at local companies who want to get on board. You got to give them something back for it. Then you have the multinationals who are looking for stories. Multinationals, when they get a story, the kind of money they are willing to put behind it, because look, Coca-Cola on its own can fund all sports in Ghana, and it will not even affect their bottom line. It will not be a scratch on their bottom line. They might not even notice it. They'll just be like, well, we're sponsoring Ghana. How much? They don't know. But you have to get the structure when the funding actually gets to the athlete. It doesn't get in the pocket of any official. It does not go through a roundabout system. It goes from sponsor to athletes, the GOC, the ministry, whatever, get what they need to do what? Sponsor other, maybe development of a running track in Sweden, development of a table tennis, room somewhere. But each athlete becomes a money-making machine. Don't wait till we get to an event. Assume at this event, we want to get X number of medals, because we looked at all our athletes we have. We know we have 4 hopefuls for athletics. We have 2 boxers hopeful. So we know where we are pumping the money. Set a minimum criteria. Any athlete who goes over this minimum criteria, start funding. So it's up to the athlete to push themselves on their own, resources to get over that mark. So let's say it's 100 meters. People are doing 10 point something seconds. Tell the athletes that if you can get to 11 seconds, we then start funding you. Between 11 and 1 second, it's a big deal.
Yeah, so 1 second is big.
But the person has shown you we can get to 11 seconds. When I was in uni in Ghana, I participated in the All-African Games. So I was a 4x100 meter runner.
Okay.
I played tennis, volleyball for Ghana, university level. It was a fantastic opportunity to travel to Togo and do something. If we are still doing that, what are we doing, those athletes, those sportsmen? Take them and turn them into the main pool and use that pool to make more money. Churn that money. Get companies on board. Show them that every dollar, every CD you give to us, we are actually doing stuff with it. You will not get companies to come in and build big facilities now. But the moment you start winning gold medals, it will come. But the structure we have now with Sports Council here, GOC here, and ministry over there, it's not going to work.
So bringing it a lot closer, maybe under one umbrella, and get everybody aligned, have a long-term plan, and really dedicate the resources to developing them. Because you said something quite interesting, that we wait when we're going to the tournament and we throw money at it. But the money should have been thrown at the athletes a lot earlier.
I mean, I've been to the GOC and I actually told the GOC, do you want sponsorship? They said yes. I was okay. I'm going to bring sponsorship to you and I'll charge you X percentage. And they were like, okay. And I just went away, got one sponsor. I didn't even have to reach outside the country. And this sponsor, I said, how much is it going to cost? We're willing to do it. And I said, oh, could you pay an athlete 1,000 cedis every month? And we're like, what are they going to do with 1,000 cedis? We can do more. So this company is willing to do more. They can take on more than one athlete. They have the money. To them, it's nothing. Giving an athlete 2,000, okay, to a young Ghanaian who is now trying to break into the top 50 in the world in running, and you're giving him 2,000 Ghana cedis every month. Is he going to say no?
Of course not.
It's going to run his heart out. Now, you go to Choco today and say you're putting 1 million Ghana cedis down. Anybody can row this fast. Are you trying to tell me you'll not get anybody? They will row that boat and the boat will disintegrate before it gets to the end mark. It means put money where your mouth is. You want to develop sports, put money there. Don't spend 195 million and you didn't really spend it on the athletes. Who is coming to use the infrastructure if there's no athlete there? Because look, sportsmen in Ghana, especially the local ones, are not really excited about what they are doing. Some of them see the African Games and the potential of qualifying for the Olympics as a way out of the country. When we take our athletes to the Olympics, always the story comes out.
Some have disappeared.
Exactly.
May it not be the story going forward, but I think you make some very interesting points in that it's important that while we're developing infrastructure, we're actually focusing on the human beings who are going to use their infrastructure.
Exactly.
And I think it's a fantastic point. Now, if we get all of these things done, elsewhere, I mean, in the UK where you grew up, a lot of the sports are exposed, or the children are exposed to the sports at a very early age. So we're talking schools and colleges and things, but in the communities, there were places where the kids could go to. I'm sure there was a community swimming pool that you could go to.
Every community in UK has that. They have clubs, so they have athletics clubs, etc. I think once I went to the Ghana, the main sports stadium. They got a lot of rules around using a facility. You can't use it now. You can't do this. You can't do this. You need to know this person. Sports is supposed to be open. You should encourage. You shouldn't make it bureaucratic. You should have like every Saturday or so at Elwax Sports Stadium, there'll be a coach who is not charging anybody and just has a lot of hopefuls from that area running. So they just come in there and they're training. When I was in uni, well, that we paid, I think the university paid one of the national coaches, I've forgotten him. He used to have a bald head. That was long ago, and he used to train us. It was tough man to please. But you need that situation where in every region, district, even if it's just, you can have a straight 100-meter track. You might not have the whole thing. Just, good tartan straight track, badminton, volleyball, just dotted all over the place, and create clubs. So it could be North Legon Badminton Club, North Legon Volleyball Club. Let all these clubs come together and they are constantly competing. It's a way of keeping these athletes and sports people on their toes at the edge of their game. They're always kind of ready to go. Instead of these guys sit down, then they announce all African Games is next year. Oh, we have to start training. It's too late. People started training
years before,
10 years ago. They have built up their knowledge about the sport. Look, when I got into the Olympics and I realized that, look, we don't stand a chance. The nutrition part of it is a whole ball game. If you watch, sometimes you find people with some tubes.
Yes.
There are salts, sugars, electrolytes, all sorts inside. Now, watch Ghanaian sportsmen. They're just standing there. There's nothing they are drinking. When you watch top football, teams, those water bottles is not water inside, electrolytes. You watch lots of times they don't drink, they spit it out.
Yes.
There's a science behind that. I found out last 2 weeks. They do that to cause the body to give them a hit of adrenaline. Watch our footballers. Glug, 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 glug. And you do that, and the body cannot do anything anymore. We need more sports science students if we really want to do it. You know those vest footballers wear? Those black vests?
Yeah, where it records the movement, heart rate, and all of those. It provides data for the sports.
Bingo.
Yeah.
How do you know if your athlete you are preparing for the All-African Games has a heart problem? He's just running every day until he goes, oof, he dies. We need to invest. And we don't need to look for money. We need to look for synergies between industry and the sports associations.
And the state.
That's all. Synergy. Look, for example, you want bikes? If the Cycling Association of Ghana was to contact me, where do you get some of the top bike manufacturers? Italy. To give you 1 or 2 bikes, it is nothing to Carrera. They will give you the bike. What you use the bike for is what matters to them. Can you get into a magazine? That is what they are concerned with.
Because they're looking for mileage for their brand.
That's all. Get one Ghanaian rider in the Tour de France.
On a Carrera bike.
Look, Carrera will give you 1,000 bikes after that. They will tell you how many.
We need more of these.
They'll just throw bikes at you because they are manufacturing the bikes. The bikes are sitting in the factory doing nothing. Look, when I was skiing, I met a skier who was within the world top 20. And he came to me and went like, how come you have so much sponsorship? I mean, I'm far better than you. And you are getting, look, my boots were custom made in the head factory.
Are you kidding?
I'm telling you, I went twice to the head factory. I don't buy off-the-shelf stuff.
Custom made.
Everything custom made. Built to my foot. So I stand there. I mean, I wish I had filmed it. You know when you watch these videos and
building stuff.
Iron Man.
You lived it.
That was me. They built everything from the bottom up.
Wow.
For my boots. My skis were custom made for me. My suit custom made. My helmet custom made.
Wow.
Why? All the brand saw the mileage. I was the face of my clothing brand for 4 years. When you enter their factory, they have this massive billboard there with my face in Italy. They scrapped all the other sponsorships and they focused.
That's a new kid.
They turned around and told me, do you know how much we made out of you? I said, how much? €500,000. And we're like, it was just a win-win for us. That's all we have to do. We want bikes. We want table tennis. I mean, look, a crazy thing happened. I got 100 hockey sticks. Wanted to bring it to Sports Council. They said I had to clear it at the port myself. And I said, no point. It's okay. I've got you 100 hockey sticks. If I bring it, why don't you clear it yourself? Why must I clear it? I said, if you don't want it, it's okay. Leave it. And I left it. I have actually bought about 20 tennis rackets and brought it to them. It wasn't being handed out. It was stuck under somebody's table. And the person was giving it to people he likes. There are a lot of philanthropic ex-sportsmen in Ghana and outside who will support if they know the thing is going to what?
Where it has to go to.
Has to actually go to. And I'm telling you, it will not take me a year. I can put a process together and all the sports can be funded.
You know, the very interesting thing you're saying in all of this is that all of these examples go as far back as 2010 when you were preparing for the Olympics. But it seemed we always seem to say, nah, buying. I mean, these people you were dealing with, they're not exactly buying, are they?
No.
Civil servants.
Yes. It's just civil servants.
So it's us.
It's just people. Somebody sits there and goes like, I'm not going to get anything from what you're doing, so I'm not really going to push the paperwork through.
But you're earning a salary.
Yeah, you are seen as a cash cow. What are you coming with, cash cow? Cash cow did not bring any milk. I'm not going to budge. Look, what stops Nike from coming in and going like, here are 100 running spikes. It does not cost Nike anything. But Nike is going to ask, what's the traction we're getting? What's the story? I always tell people now, brands are not just interested in, oh yeah, look, actually, one of my sponsors said, we are not interested in any gold medal or whatever. We just want you on what? TV. So they had another
newspaper, on TV.
They had an athlete who was doing very well, and one day they called me and said, can you talk to this lady? She's so bad for TV. She's doing so well, but when they interview her, she just stands there. She's looking sullen, like she doesn't want to be on TV. There's no smile. She's not engaging, and she's boring. So I had to talk to her that, okay, you know, when you get on TV, you got to wave, you got to hold up the equipment, you got to wear the baseball hat on with the brand name, you got to watch Formula One, watch any sport, and you find these guys with tag hair watches, flashing it around. Our athletes need education as well. As much as they are training, Sports Council, Olympic body has to educate them. When you get on TV, put a word in for your brand that is sponsoring you. Go like, oh yeah, this competition has been made possible by
the sponsor.
You know it. And the sponsor goes like, yeah, we've got, you know, I had a sponsor. Every time I mentioned their name on radio, I got £200.
Okay.
Anytime my picture came with their thing on TV, 400.
Oh.
So it depends on you. The more you push
I'll
us,
be on TV all day.
I bet you'll be singing their name everywhere. But that's what it was.
Wow.
Why can't we do this? The brands are out. Okay. In Ghana, we have Guinness, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Guinness makes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Made of black.
Mm-hmm.
Guinness actually approached me. They wanted to do a thing with me made of black. But unfortunately, I don't drink alcohol.
Okay.
So they said, I said, I'll drink malt. And they were like, oh, you need to drink what?
Guinness.
Guinness. I was like, no. But it was made of black. Imagine a Ghanaian, let me give you an advert. Imagine our Beko can win a medal.
Mm-hmm.
And the pool, instead of it's Guinness, and he's swimming
in some
made of black.
Made of black. So there's mileage. There's opportunity for synergies to be found between brands and sports.
Yes.
We just need to get our act together.
Yeah. If I brought you one of the top doctors in Kolebu, and I put him here, and I brought you a youngster from Ghana who has just defeated everyone at the Olympics and is now the Olympic gold medal bantamweight boxing, who are you going to be cheering?
Of course they are.
The sportsman.
Yeah.
But the doctor is great.
I know. But the doctor, he works in a small corner.
Exactly.
This guy, when he's on TV, there are hundreds of millions.
And that's why brands love people. That's why brands love people in sports.
Mm.
Why don't brands sponsor doctors or best farmer? Then, a big multinational like Nike will sponsor the farmer that he's the fastest at the moment planting maize.
Are they?
Exactly.
No, I get the point. So essentially, we need to have a plan, have the right people in the right places, and then exploit the synergies.
That's all.
Kwame, it's been fantastic talking to you. I'm excited. I'm excited because of the depth of the knowledge you've shared, but more importantly, that you've touched on things that's got me thinking that if we're going to grow this nation, whether it be it sports, be it in our tourism, it's going to be up to us, the people.
Yeah.
And your willingness to step up and do something is admirable.
Okay.
How do you relax? Don't tell me you go skiing.
No, anytime I get out into UK, I like to ski at least once or twice. I like going to the beach with my dog.
Okay.
Just walk on the beach. I like water, so I like being near water. I like surfing the internet.
Okay.
It's my way of visiting all sorts of exotic places.
That you don't have to buy a ticket.
Yeah, I don't have to buy a ticket. I just sit down. I like music a lot, so I listen to music a lot.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Everything. I like anything that is good music.
What was the weirdest genre of music that you listen to?
Trap music.
Trap music?
I listen to trap music.
Okay.
I listen to classicals.
Okay.
Like...
you have a pre-race music you listen to?
I used to listen to Hip Life before the races.
Nice.
Like,
who was your guy? Who was
Lord Kenya.
For real?
Lord Kenya and Reggie Rockstone.
So these were your artists that you plug into your ear?
I actually have Reggie Rockstone's number on my phone. I talk to him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Reggie Rockstone. Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
And Lord Kenya.
Super.
Those are... I grew up on those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Brafo to an extent.
Okay.
There's some new ones like Shatawale, Sarkodie, Stoneboy, and all these kind of guys. One of their tracks, one or two I listen to, but yeah, I like hip hop as well. Okay. So 50 Cent, Eminem, look, I listen to anything.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for gracing Sunday night. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah. And for me, here are my takeouts. Today's takeout is very simple. First of all, you can dream it, but you must have a plan. Dreaming is only the beginning. You must have a plan. Have the right people in place. Put your back in it. Invest your time, your sweat, and your resources. And when you're successful, the world will come calling. And that is how we end today's Sunday night. And it's been a great time talking to Kwame Nkrumah-Acheampong, the Snow Leopard, who's Ghana's first Winter Olympian. And since then, others have followed. You are a trailblazer waiting to happen to the world. So go forward, make great.